Hi guys, today I'd like to showcase something a little bit different. This is a box that I recently completed. It was supposed to represent, I guess you could say, inspired by the Maz Box in the Force Awakens, and basically I wanted to try to see what I can do to recreate that, but on a smaller scale. So the nice thing about this box is you can buy this for about $7 or $8 from Hobby Lobby. Very inexpensive, good solid base to work with. I've pretty much replaced all the original hardware on it, but I think it makes this a very easy DIY project for home. All of the materials here I was able to procure from eBay and Etsy. I think all in all I might be in $20 into this whole build. It was, like I said, $7, $8 for the box. These straps here are aluminum. I got those from Lowe's. They were maybe $4 for like a 4-foot section. The latches and this little handle thing, I think were like maybe $4 or $5 online. So anyway, let's get started. I'll do a quick walkthrough here. So basically, you can see there's my Graflex 2.0. Sits kind of nicely in there. And the Burlap I was able to get from online source as well. Kind of gives a nice little element to it. Nice little soft place for the saber to hold or to sit in. But let's go through it here. So first off, this latch, basically it didn't come this way. It was a little bit fatter. It was aluminum in color, but in essence I was able to kind of trim down using a Dremel. Opened up this slot because you can see there's not a whole lot of space here for this to mount to, but at the end of the day it all ended up working out well, so I think it works well. These little guys here, these straps, so they come in, like I said, like a 3 or 4 foot length. Had to bend them, and then I cut them with cut-off wheel, use my Dremel. And the nice thing about this project is this box is meant to be weathered and beat up, so I basically went to town on the straps, the box, everything else. So what I did for these guys was I just took a hammer and just started pounding away. I did use a grinding wheel on the Dremel as well to see what sorts of effect I could get, and also just to kind of vary up everything. So that was pretty cool. These little guys are just little caps. So underneath I actually have screws that screws the straps into the piece of wood, and this I just glued on over the screw heads using some E6000. And so that basically wraps around the bottom, onto the other side. Same thing here, same concept with these straps, just on the side there. And this little ring handle basically is just bolted through the center. So you can see on the inside there's the other end of that particular ring. So that's basically how it looks. It goes right through, and I just screw it in, and I use a screwdriver and just kind of bolt it in together. So that was pretty straightforward. And then on the back here, so actually, I kind of have to correct myself. This back hinge, both of them on both sides, that was actually the stock part. I just contoured it a little bit differently, and then aged it with aluminum black. I didn't have brass black back then. I used aluminum black on this, and it seemed to take to the color pretty well too. As far as the box goes, let's walk you through a little bit. What I did was I carved into the box these these little highlights where it makes it look like there's separate planks of wood underneath. You can see that. They're not obviously different sections of wood. This box itself is intact, but I thought I'd try and give it a little bit of some character lines from there. Looking back, I probably could have made the lines a little bit more jagged and stuff to make it look more weathered, but overall I was happy with how that turned out. And then here you can see I also made some faux dovetail little details, so you can see there. I thought it turned out well overall. It does give it a little bit more interesting look on the overall box, so I'm pretty pleased with that. And then you can see as I'm moving around, there's these kind of dented areas where it looks like it's worn. There's holes, there's scratches all throughout. Take a look here. And so this basically, I used a variety of methods. I think these big long scratches, they were, it's a piece of wood that I drilled a bunch of screws in, I think nails as well, and I just kind of scraped it across the box. These holes were the claw end of a hammer. I just kind of pounded down. These sections here, I used a hammer as well as, I think it was like a 1-inch socket. And I just rolled it back and forth and pounded it. Basically, you could be pretty free with this because there's really no wrong way to do it, and your whole point is to try to age it and weather it and damage it somehow. So as long as you didn't break the box, which the box is actually quite resilient. At a couple of points I thought I would you know, maybe crack a seam or something, but it never did. And then once I was all done with all of that, I put a layer of Minwax stain. Oh man, I can't remember off the top of my head what the stain I used was, but I'll put it in the description of the video so you guys have a reference. But I think overall it turned out pretty nice. Gives my saber a nice little home. Yeah, and then like I think I mentioned before, the burlap I got from a seller on eBay, and then you can see here the hilt fits perfectly in here. Nice little home, and still closes, still latches. That's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoy, and if you guys end up making your own box, feel free to share it. I'd love to see what everyone comes up with. Alright, take care.